Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Are we ready to go?
For this
Ready
one,
to find that perfect number.
That's right. Let's talk about the myth of the perfect retirement number. So when you actually just hear that title, what do you think of?
There's this mystical number. It actually makes me think of that. I think it was ING commercial where they had the numbers walking.
Yes. Yes.
So it's like, what's your number? And like everyone has their unique number that they need to retire on. And it's like, it's so arbitrary.
Forever it was $1 million. And I'm like, oh, so we all are going to live on the exact same thing, right?
Yep.
Like forever. And then it went to $2 million. And then I'm like, okay, so now we all are living this $2 million life. What is that life?
To kind of corral this a little bit, there has been a little bit of change there. Because I think when it first came out, it was a big dollar amount. And I think there's still undertones of that in the industry today where it's like, what's the dollars at 1, 2, whatever.
Yeah.
Depending on your lifestyle, it might be a lot higher. Could be a lot less. So there's one aspect. I think the one that has trumped that lately is what growth? Like, how much do I need to average? Like, what's the rate of return that I need to average to get what I want or to retire comfortably? And I think that's both of these don't settle well because no matter who you talk to that are not our clients, when they come in and we're having these conversations, they're very familiar with this. I think some of our clients get comfortable with dividend income and some of the things that we're going to talk about later on the show. But I think when they first get introduced or when they're first getting ready to plan for retirement, there is this like, how much do I need to save? And then how much growth am I going to average in retirement with the least amount of volatility so I don't ruin my retirement?
Well,
and then what's that drawdown, like how much can I take from my assets so that I don't run out?
That 4% rule, which became the 5% rule. But
which
Paul,
is now 4 or is now 3.
Oh, yeah.
They're talking about being 3 because of how crazy the markets are.
Oh, yeah. But we can't blame people, though. That's the only thing I was just going to say. When people walk in, that's it. That's always the discussion. When you're on the news, when you're listening to the talking heads on the news in the morning, it's hard to escape it because it's always there.
On all the websites, like I read a ton in the morning and go to multiple different financial websites, and all of them, their ad spends are like, how far can $1 million go today? Is the 3% drawdown enough? Like, it's just all over the place.
So really, I think if we were to draw a conclusion to the show before we even start talking about it, it'd be there's really no number out there that's going to guarantee my peace of mind, at least not in how we're framing it at this point.
Your freedom, if you will.
Your freedom.
Your freedom from, Yeah.
We're going to have any Nikki-isms today?
Well, and I will give you credit for turning me on to that, but it is a very different mindset. And I'll frankly say it's changed my life. I'm sure that'll come up, but the freedom of income, like, it's a very different mindset for me because I was listening to the news. And when I used to listen to that, that's what I did until I got into this business. And now I'm searching for the freedom rather than one number. So we'll talk about that.
Well, and we've talked about this off the show, but I just want to ask it on here. Paul, you've been in the industry a long time. Have you ever sat down with a client or a prospect that said, I have enough?
They would be the exception, not the rule. I have met a few people, and those investors definitely think differently. They think more of the conclusion of this show than the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
It's just, there's just not a whole lot of them. And those are typically people who have either huge pensions or rental contracts, land contracts, property that they're renting. They have cash flow that they have contracts on for many, many decades. And they're just like, I got all the money I need. So without the exception of those, so the people I can think of in my career that have said that, it hasn't been because of the assets in the bank. It's because of the pipeline of income.
It's just something you don't hear.
Yeah.
I've got enough. I'm good. There's like in the back of their head, I feel like with a lot of people, it's always, I'm not sure.
Well, even with business owners, like good, godly Christian business owners that I've met in my life, I don't know if I've ever heard that. Like I'm in a group C12 and I sit around a table every month, with other members. And I don't know if I've ever heard one go, yeah, we're good. We don't want to grow anymore.
Right.
Like we've arrived.
That's right.
It does, even the people that have the purest of intent, that they're just like, this is God's business, or even to bring spirituality into this.
Yeah.
I still don't feel a sense of, what's godliness with contentment is great gain. Like, I don't feel this, like, I just don't need any more. have you ever heard of pastors like, yeah, we don't want to grow.
Right.
We got enough people. We've saved enough this year.
I think at the end of the day, we are just naturally bent to push the boundary of whatever we're pursuing, whether it's, retirement, because that's our focus on right now. And I think there's always that uncertainty that pushes us there. Like we're like retired, or we're walking a client into retirement, and they're like, I'm good right now. They might actually be saying it in the back of their mind going, I have enough. But then they think, but what if?
Yeah, what if?
Right. And
on both sides of it.
Yeah. And
what if
the market
drops, but what if it explodes? Or,
and
I could spend more.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
The people who are there are just also built that way, right? They want to grow. That's what got them to this place. And then the people who are there love it. They want to give more, which is awesome. Like they want to do more mission trips. They want to be able to give to their community more. They want to be able to get involved more. That's a different mind. I could do a whole podcast.
It's a different podcast.
I'll leave that one alone. I was going to go down a rabbit
get excited about it, Nikki?
Well, it is.
Come on.
I know you're just trying to
hold
trigger
back.
me. You'll get some isms. They're coming. They're coming.
All right. So this is a line that I love. You're not going to retire into a number. You're going to retire into a lifestyle. At the end of the day, retirement planning, retirement income, it's fluid. I wish we could say like those cooks on the Home Shopping Network, set it and forget it.
Yeah.
I remember that back in the day. They set it and the crowd would go, and forget it. I wish, we could go into retirement and be like, all right, we're just going to set this up once and move on. But any client that's been retired for any amount of period of time is going to say, yeah, right.
No.
You can't even do like 3 months without rethinking it, or having a desire for pushing the envelope of spending more money. Or sometimes we have the clients that are like, I can't spend, like I have to cut back. Why? Because I'm worried. It typically follows a diagnosis of somebody or something where it's like, hey, we don't know what the future is going to hold. And it could be a friend of a friend, like but it just hits home because it's like, man, I'm no spring chicken anymore.
That's right.
Well, and there's a little bit of, what do my friends have? What do the neighbors have? Can I keep up? And then when the world changes, we talk about talking heads, when something happens in the news, it creates this fear. You think you're good and then you have this fear, or you think you're good and then you do something with your neighbor or a friend and you're like, well, wait a minute, I could go get a boat or buy a bigger boat or get a bigger house. And all of a sudden that number, you're no longer content with it. So not only is it within you, but it's also things that happen in the world.
So let's like generalize this to a degree. Why, and we've tiptoed around this a little bit, but why don't we stay content? Why can we hit retirement and go, I feel good. Like we do our simplicity, we map our income and we're like, I'm good. But then 6 months, 12 months, 2 years down the road, we're just like, we're worried again. Or the moment the news drops on the media, or whatever, we're checking our phone, or we're walking through a store and you hear something on the TV and you're instantly like nervous. Like, why? What are some things out there that just flip us out?
A tweet can fire off, any of those red numbers that you see.
Yeah.
You're getting a ton of geopolitical stuff that to not even get into it, but things that aren't even affecting you here, wherever you live, for us in Charlotte, they can send you in a spiral. And I think we're just inundated with so much information. Like some of the very best advice you gave me to share with my clients early on was just tell them, like, what do you really enjoy doing? Okay, cool. Turn off the TV and go do that today. Because today's not the day that you sit at home and watch the news.
But let's hold on to that one for 1 second. Yeah. So you know what you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
But here's the one thing that I don't know if we've quite mentioned yet. What you enjoy doing is not going to cost the same amount when you retire than it does today because inflation. That's one thing that's a talking in the head. But that's
what
actually...
if it's hiking?
Yeah, it's pretty much free.
Shoes are more expensive.
What if it's hiking? What if it's hiking? Are you going to hike in your backyard every day, or might you hop on a plane?
I'm just having
Might
fun.
you take a car and need
but
gas?
That day, if it's red, I'm just going to go out for a walk.
We're just you guys are really trying to get
what's
me
the
fired
what's
up.
the walk around Charlotte? The path.
I don't know the name.
The
of
breezeway or
the Greenway.
The Greenway.
Yeah.
Greenway.
What if it's the Greenway?
Doesn't cost you anything.
That's a good point, guys. If you're hikers, inflation does not impact you. If you're
a cyclist,
if you're a cyclist, when you pop your tire, though.
I think the reality is inflation is a real scare, and the crazy thing is, like, inflation doesn't go away. during the last several years, inflation went rampant. It has slowed, but depending on the news that you look at, it's like, well, it's the current president's fault or the last president's fault, depending on where you're looking. Inflation's real.
It is real.
It's not ever going to go away.
That whole joke about the movie was, 50 cents when we were kids, and it's $25 now. I don't even go to movies, but
everything is super expensive
in Charlotte, so I don't go to the movies.
We're not trying to get flat.
Like this whole cyclical cycle too.
And we also have fears. We have the comparison that we talked about earlier to your neighbors, to headlines, to future calculations. We have, I think this principle, I think this nails it. A static number can't support a dynamic life.
Yeah. Well, and I hate to bring up a sad one, but this is it's in my life right now. Parents aging and them feeling like them looking at their neighbors and friends and saying they just got sick. And I think you referenced this earlier, and they need to go into a home. Do they have enough? Do you have enough? So what your lifestyle of hiking, or if you will, your biking, whatever your lifestyle was, it's the unknown of, but wait a minute. What happens if I do get sick? And what I thought was my lifestyle, this isn't my forever home. My forever home might need to be assistance in a home, and I don't know what that costs. And did I think about that before I shut off the spigot and retired, right? So that is also another one that's very prevalent in my life with everything going on with my family. It's just, it's very scary. Dementia, things like that.
That just in case buffer, that's the dynamic side of retirement, because the just in case are always changing. My just in case are very different than my parents' just in case.
Well, and I feel like we've brought this up on a couple other shows, but we have some very successful people. We were talking about it earlier in the show. They're in control. They work their butts off. They have very high performing jobs. They make great money. They haven't really had to worry about money. And it's because of the work they do and the control they have, because they're running their business, whatever the case. All of a sudden, when it comes to health and aging and certain things that are out of your control, now you're in retirement and you're used to controlling it. That feeling, what's that number cost? Like, what is that? How much is it? And I can't control it. I can't bring it down. Do I have enough? So, sorry, again, I don't know if that's an ism or a rant, but
I'd call that a rant.
But if you're
but it's a good rant.
You're in control before retirement. You know that if you need to go make more money,
perception of control, right?
Very true. Sorry, I should have.
That's good.
You're more in control than you are. You know the levers to go pull, go get a second job, go do this. But when you start getting,
you're not more in control. It's perception.
Yeah,
things can happen when you're working.
Separate show, because something bigger looking out. I'll leave that one alone too. But you understand where I'm going with that, right?
Totally.
Yeah. It's real for quite a few of my clients.
So if the anchor is not a growth number or an asset number, what is it?
It's got to be that income being generated from the number.
That's right. The income number from the number.
Yeah. Or it's the income amount coming from the number that you've been saving. Whatever that nest egg is that we'll just use that term. So that's what people mostly talk about. How much have you saved? How much have you stored away? Now, what can that actually go generate from an income perspective?
Right.
And hopefully you're not having to dip in and ever sell shares. That's our goal.
Yeah, I love this line too. Net worth is a snapshot, income is a system. At the end of the day,
that's good.
When I step back and look, when you ask, is there any clients that have ever come in or investors that have come in and said, I've got enough? The only ones that triggered were the ones that had the income system.
Yep.
They had the pipeline of cash flow. And they were like, I'm good. Like, I have a contract, and the reality is of, how we've chosen to invest for our clients. We're dividend guys, and gals. Like, at the end of the day, we build income streams for the lifestyles of our clients.
Yep.
And you have clients I wish it was so cut and dry where every client was the same and every portfolio, like it could just be Manila. You got clients that push the envelope, and you got clients that don't go anywhere near the edge.
That's right.
Right.
And they're just conservative is an aggressive word to some clients,
Right.
and you have other ones that aggressive is like, there's no such thing, and at the end of the day, it's a dynamic relationship that we have with our clients where we're just trying to help understand where they are in their life, build a system of income that's generated on a monthly basis to build confidence. Because at the end of the day, I think our confidence is the only thing that can overrule our fear. Because if we're not confident in what we have going on as income or our investment portfolios or our strategy, and there's no hope, then we're left to the dogs of the media, the clickbait and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And you're just like, now we're back to I just need to roll the dice and just hope it works out.
I mean, I can't imagine walking into retirement just hoping everything works out.
Ugh.
Or even, how about the 20 years before retirement that you're hoping?
That's the beauty of establishing an income plan, right? Especially early, is because it allows you to have that peace of mind earlier.
I always say, do you take percentages to the bank? And the answer is no. And I call it, do you take percentages to freedom, which is one of my new things. Like,
a new Nikkiism?
A Nikkiism. No, but listen, don't interrupt my thought. It's seriously, like, we so often think that peace of mind when we get to retirement. Guys, I don't know if you've met me. I got a little anxiety. I don't need more. I love having this freedom of income. I have solved for that. And I find so much joy when you look at a client or somebody you meet on a ball field and you're talking to them and you realize that they genuinely have hit the spot where they know when that market's up, when that market's down, when that talking head is in your head, when that inflation plays games, you have your income solved for. Anything else is gravy. Let's go have fun. Play with percentages. But at the end of the day, go get that freedom first. Don't wait until retirement. Like, live life now. Like, that's fun. Freedom.
So solve for the basic needs.
Solve for the basic needs.
And then if there's surplus, go percentage the heck out of that.
A lot of our clients can go do that right now. But they want
the majority.
Yeah. And why don't we go? And it's because of, again, you kicked off the show, how us human people are built and the emotions. Well, I could go get more. You could, but it's really comforting to know you have enough. So get that bird in the hand. I'm fired up about this topic.
You are fired up today.
I've had a lot of clients wrestling with through the holidays with this, and they've been very emotional. And I have finally pulled out I call it my Jersey and my Frito, where I had to say, wait a minute. I got to get passionate for you about this, and I've got to stand strong on this because I'm not going to let your emotions get you. You got to go solve for the income first. Go get what you need, and then we can have some other fun. Then we can chase percentages. Then we can go and try to keep up with the Joneses. Right now, let's do you. Mm-hmm. Let's get that right, and then we can go do the other stuff.
That is in all the years we've been teaching simplicity, everything is a success or failure based on lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So if you don't get, and we used to talk for a long time trying to train advisors, like a lot of advisors just blow through it. They'll just pick a number. Like, you can't do that.
Mm-mm.
No.
Because if that number's too low, you're selling something that's misleading. If it's too high, you're selling something that's misleading. At the end of the day, that lifestyle number is so fluid to so many people, but it's so meaningful to making sure you can either go into retirement with success, or you're going to hit into retirement. No, there's potential or some degree of high failure, and nobody wants that. And you have to be accurate there. That's why we've so many times have told clients, like, you're getting ready to retire in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, a year. Why don't you live on the money that we're planning for retirement right now? I know you're making double that, or whatever the percentage is above. Live on that for the next 4 months and don't spend a dime more. Because if you can't do that now, what makes you think you can do that in a year?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And some clients don't want to play that game. They're like, oh, I'll just hand. What do you mean? You're about to?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're going to get thrown in the game.
Yeah.
Well, so back, you asked a really good question earlier in the show. The other part, when you have somebody say, oh, I'm good, is when they're trying to convince you that they're good. They have no idea. And themselves. They're trying to convince you. Better said.
Yeah.
You and themselves. But I make a joke sometimes just to get the elephant in the room, get them comfortable. I may not even go past what do we need to solve for in retirement? And I'm like, okay, guys, let me pick your head up out of the sand, because it's just like, oh, I'm putting the max into my 401k. I'm giving the max to my Roth with you. I've got my brokerage. But what's the number? And they just keep working hard. But look up and let's first, what are we solving for? And that may end up being the whole show, because somebody hasn't even thought about that for 35 years, to your point, whether they're 3 months from retirement or they're just getting started. But knowing that number is sometimes the work for
so
many
people
clients
right now going, okay, what's this show about?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No. This is good, because what we're talking about now, or how we're landing or how we're ending, we're talking about the importance of knowing your lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle number,
if
not
you don't,
a account balance.
If you don't
number.
have that number, you can't build a portfolio to build the confidence that you need. So it's, we have to know our lifestyle number, our means, plus a little bit. And then we have to be able to make sure that you have enough money to build the income stream, that system, to be able to get back to that income. And if we can do that, we feel good. And then there can be surplus. We need to shut this show down. It's gone for a long time. So if you need any of this, we have, at least on the income side, we have a really cool thing, a dividend starter kit that it's plain English. Although it's a long document, there's a lot in it, but it's well done to get you to the basics of building a dividend portfolio without the help of a professional. You can always hire a professional, but if you don't have one, just subscribe to the show. In the beginning.
It's fine. At least got it here.
That's right. Subscribe to the show, and then on the bottom, just hit Dividend Starter Kit, type it in the comments, and we'll gladly send that your way.